Okay. So now, when we looked at Abhi's Git-K, the Git-K structure is different, and my structure is different. So I did not see any of the changes that Abhi made. So now, how to get the changes, whatever he made? To do that, as I explained earlier, you have to do git fetch -v minus prune origin. When you do this command, what it does is, it will talk to remote and see if there are any changes. It will check for only the status between your local repository and the remote repository. So now let's look at this. So now you can see that my local develop is not up to date. See here. So whenever you see these numbers, that means something is changed on the remote develop compared to my local develop. Similarly, master is also same. Something is changed in the remote master. Now let's go and come back to the Git-K and refresh the same window. Now you can see the things, whatever the things that Abhi made, I'm able to see it. But these changes are not available at my local repository. If you see here, my local develop is here, but remote is having Abhi's commit. And similarly, master branch, I have this one. Now, earlier he made some change, I got it. Now, just now, Abhi made one more change on the remote master, but I don't have it in my local. So now let's look at how I can get all the changes available on develop branch into my local develop branch. Now you see here, right? My local develop branch is one commit beyond remote develop branch. So how we can get it? To do that, git rebase minus preserve mergers origin source branch. We need to give the source branch from where you wanted to get the changes, to which branch you want to get. This one is the target, source and target. Source is origin develop and target is just develop in local repository. So now here what it does is rebase and preserve merger. What it does is, I don't want to do this change. Now let's go to the, I'll run the rebase command a little bit later. Git checkout develop. Now I'm trying to make some change on sample file. I'm doing something new change. So now when I do the git status, I see some change. And to get the changes different, then you can do the git diff. And now when you do commit, I'm doing commit new change on develop. Now when I run reload the Git-K, now you see the difference. Excuse me. When I reload the Git-K, you see here from this blue dot for the highlighted commit. From here, my local develop moved ahead to here. That means my local develop has a commit which I just made, but I don't have remote develop commit into my local branch. See, from this dot, whatever the cursor I'm showing, you might be seeing it, from this dot, and the remote develop moved this side. And from here, my local develop moved up. That means remote code is not available in my local develop. So now let's go back to run the another command, git rebase preserve mergers origin develop. What does that mean? Preserve mergers means keep my commit. Don't remove my commit. Whatever the commit, latest commit I made, this which is not available in remote or not on Abhi's machine. This is something I made additional commit. So keep my additional commits, and also get the changes from the remote branch. That's what this command does. New change on develop. Could not apply. Why? I should be able to get, okay, git rebase about git fetch minus tool. You need to run this command again, I guess, okay. So now git rebase minus filter merges origin develop. You have resolved when you could not pick. Why? Why I could not pick? Let's look at gedit sample.txt. Okay, I see the problem. So now, what happened here when I do that? It could not pick up my change. So it could not update the local database with the local develop branch with the remote branch and keep my changes. There is a problem happened here. So why this problem happened? Because in the file,
you need to have
the same, yeah.
Yeah, like you need to have this Abhi changes in your file, right?
No, I cannot. Because Abhi also made the change on the same file. I also made the change on the same file. Now, if you look at this file content, at this line, I have changes at this line. And Abhi also having changes at the same line in the same file. So Git will get confused which lines should take. So that's why it's a conflict, because he made the changes on the same file. I also made the changes on the same file. So now, if you see here, because whenever you get conflicts on any file, these lines will happen, head and these lines. So that means these lines are coming from head. Head means remote. So these are the change coming from the head, and this change is coming from my local develop branch. So now I need to, whenever these kind of conflicts happens, as a developer, we need to go and see which code is right to keep, which is not right to keep. So in our example, I'm keeping both lines. Now I'm removing the line. So now I'm keeping your change and also my change in the same file. So once you get there, so now Git status. Now you can see the difference. Git diff, it shows what the changes I made. Now just do git add. So what we are doing, we are in a rebase condition. We are not in a clean condition, because this problem happened when I'm rebasing my local changes with the remote develop. So that's why, if you see on the Git, if I do the Git status, see here, rebase is in progress. I am not on any branch. Okay? So now I resolve the conflicts. I need to add these changes to the Git index, git add, dot. Dot means all the changes. If you are not giving dot, if you want to give a specific file name, you can give something like this and all the paths. If you don't want, you want to add every change that you made, simply do git add space dot. That means all the changes to be added to the Git. So now, if I do the Git status, green color, that means it is already added to the Git index. Now, what you have to do is, because we are at a rebase, this line, you see here, Git rebase continue. We resolve the problems, and we are asking Git to continue the rebase. So now it is done. Now if you go back and reload the Git, now you see the problem is resolved. So I am here, and if I come back to the latest one, I can see all the changes that we have made. This is done by Abhi, and this is done by me. Okay, that's how you need to get changes from remote, and this is how you can resolve any conflicts between while you are merging, while you are getting the changes from the remote. Any questions?
No questions.
No question.
Okay. So similarly, if I go to the develop now, I'm going under the master branch. Now in the master branch, remote has some change, local does not have. Now, when I look at I'm on the master branch, when I see the user profile. Now, I don't touch that. I'm adding some other file, sample2.txt on the master branch. So when I do the git status, I'm on the master branch and new change is there. Git, sample.2 file is there. So I'm adding this file to the git index. So now if I do the git status, you see that, this file is tracking by the git. Now I'm committing the change sample2 file. Now if I refresh the git from git, now you see the same situation as the previous situation with the develop. So now from here, my local master moved ahead. From here, both remote and my local is diversified. I mean, the commits are different on local master and remote master. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing the same thing. Fetch minus prune origin to check what is the changes on the remote. Now you see here, there is no changes on the remote because I already synced up my local repository with the remote repository. That's why it's up to date because my local Git indexes are already updated. Now, I'm doing the rebase just like previously done. Now, this time source is master and destination is also master. Now, it's done. No change, no problem because this time I have added a new file which will not conflict with whatever the changes done by Abhi because you make changes on a different file. I am doing a different file. So now you see that. So I have the Abhi change and also my change. So that's how, if there is no conflicts, it will be smooth rebasing. If it is a conflict, you have to resolve the conflicts and continue the rebase. So that's how you can fetch changes from remote, make changes, and push. Any questions so far?
No question.
You said that Git was tracking it, right? So yesterday when you created the project, you haven't initialized the repository. So how is Git tracking it?
So when I create a project, I created an assembler. When I'm adding a Git repository and assembler, automatically it's an empty repository created by assembler, and I clone that empty repository into my local machine.
Okay.
That's Git assembler does that job when I'm adding that repository.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can do something like Git init. So if you install Git and you don't have any remote concept and you wanted to create your own local repository and install Git and create a folder, go and do Git init. That will create a blank repository.
Okay.
You don't need to have a remote repository. You can create your own at local machine.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the minimum basics you need on Git repository to start work on Spring project. So if you can practice all these things, I can start on Spring, meaning I'll create a sample project tomorrow, Maven project. So what you can do is for tomorrow, read through all Git, and Rauli, you said that you did not. Make sure you have to set up all this environment by tomorrow, Arun, for you also. and go through the more Git commands, understand everything, and then tomorrow I will start Maven project.
Like you told something to read, but it got stuck. We didn't hear that.
Pardon me?
You told to read something, but unfortunately we couldn't hear that. It's getting stuck.
Why did you stop?
Sorry?
Why did you stop?
No. Your voice got stuck, so we couldn't hear what did you tell to read.
Oh, so you need to read. You need to go through set up the environment first. Whatever the environment I explained you so far, that is install Tomcat, install Git, install Git-K, set up the
Yeah, I did that.
Arun, you already have for the previous project. So Ravali, you need to pick up fast. You need to set up all this environment and get ready. Yeah. And Arun and Abhi, you need to read material around Git-K. I think you already picked up a lot of VICS. So go through more and more materials on Git-K, understand more. And for tomorrow session, before the session, read about what is Maven, how that builds Java projects. So tomorrow session will be on the Maven, how to create a project using Maven, how to build a project. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow do we have class?
Tomorrow, no, we don't have any class. Let's make like this. Let's skip every Friday. Is that fine?
Yeah. No, we couldn't hear that.
Let's skip every Friday class.
Every Friday, okay.
So rest of all days we will have the class except Friday.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
So you said that I should not touch the master and develop branches, right? So when I create a when I create a branch with any name that I choose, and I push that, when you do the rebase or when you fetch it, you will be getting those branches as well, right?
Yeah, you will get all those branches as well. Yes. Any change you made across the repository, I can get it.
And then we need to commit request, right?
No, you can push your branches. I mean, I did not set up any securities around this repository because this is only play around. So once you get your hands dirty with the Spring and Hibernate, I'll enforce. I already set up a different repository. Once you have some understanding on Spring, Hibernate, RESTful web services, and Maven, then I'll push you into the real-time project.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And, so Abhi, you can create your any number of branches, whatever the name you like to create, and you can push. I can get that.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll try to commit my changes tomorrow because I do have interview today and I do have another interview tomorrow morning. So I'll try to commit my changes by tomorrow afternoon or evening.
Okay, sure, no problem. So you guys is getting 2 days, tomorrow and Saturday. So make sure your environment is ready, especially Ravali. You should make sure your environment is ready. Yeah. And then read material around Maven. At least you need to know basic concept of what is Maven.
Okay.
Then when I explain you can understand easily. Otherwise you get confused.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So